Looking back at my media coursework, I used a wide range of media technologies throughout the whole process of my coursework, ranging from more advanced cameras to editing software. Throughout my research and planning stages, I constantly use cameras to record almost all of my findings, such as my audience research and feedback, as well as my production planning, such as researching and filming locations, camera shots, plot ideas, inspiration from existing films, and almost everything else on my blog. The reason I recorded all these posts was to make my blog more creative and visually appealing when looking at it, as well as making it more interesting to the viewer rather than having to read multiple long text posts. They can simply listen to or watch my videos instead. Doing this, I feel, was definitely a massive improvement from my coursework last year at AS, and it gives a much more professional looked and looking interesting blog. If I was to do all this again, I think I could further the look of my blog overall by recording all my research videos on better quality cameras. As although the majority of my posts were videos, a lot of them were filmed on an iPhone camera, cutting down the quality, and although this aspect doesn't affect what I'm saying in the videos, I feel as if the blog had potential to look better and cleaner quality wise. By using these cameras for some blog videos as well as my final film, I learned a lot from using them compared to last year. Last year at AS we used a different camera that was much simpler to understand for both our coursework and opening 2 minutes of a film, which, although worked out in the end, looking back, could definitely be improved massively. A lot of our shots last year were shaky and unsteady due to not knowing how to hold the camera properly. When creating a certain shot, or not knowing how to use basic buttons on the camera, like autofocus, zoom options, leading us to do them manually by moving closer or further away from the actors when necessary, rather than zooming in using the camera in one spot for a steadier shot. This year, however, as I was working on my own, I chose to use a camera from school as I wanted the best quality I could possibly with the resources I had. By choosing this option meant I had to research a lot of how to use the camera and how certain buttons help you in the filming process. I learned a lot of this by simply using the internet or asking friends and family who may have experience with cameras. I think looking over both films from this year and last year, the parts that I shot specifically, there is a major improvement in the camera work department and the shots look much cleaner and smoother than before. Although I feel the shots look a lot better, and I feel as if there still is definitely room for more improvement. And if I was to use this camera again and reshoot my film, I would definitely try maybe using a tripod for even more steadiness in my shots, and try using much more complex camera shots, as a lot of time I found myself using the camera for quite basic and easy shots, which overall I think I downgraded the look of my film and the potential it had. To edit everything I had filmed, I only used Premiere Pro and an app on my phone to edit quick blog videos filmed on the iPhone camera. I made sure to section my videos and film only quick videos of less importance, such as a short video on inspiration on my phone, so then I could quickly crop and edit it all together and upload it straight to YouTube from my phone, making the process much quicker for those videos. The rest of my videos I would film at home or in school, and put them on a memory stick and edit them on Premiere Pro on the Mac at school. This program allowed me to crop and edit parts out of the video from the start, middle and end, and allowed me to add in titles and effects to make my video slightly more interesting and easier for me, as I was able to add in titles when needed, extra text and images and clips I needed to show in the video whilst talking. I also used Premiere Pro for my final film, as again I was familiar with the program and I found it easy to navigate through and use. Last year my group shared out the editing between us and we all edited small amounts and didn't venture into anything new like effects, to be safe sticking to what we had learned that year, meaning we kept it very simple. This year I played around much more with the effects and used different transitions such as dips to white and blacks, fade in and out, and to transition my clips more dramatic, and hopefully meeting that thriller stereotype. A lot of the editing options on Premiere Pro I still didn't know how to use, so I went to the internet and YouTube to watch tutorials for effects other people had used on their short films, and carefully followed the tutorials. For example, I wanted cinematic black bars on the top and bottom of my film, which I didn't know how to do, but by finding a tutorial on YouTube on it, I was able to follow step by step and eventually add them to my film as well, which made my film overall look much more professional and real and extended my knowledge on the editing program overall. So I was then able to help others and teach them to do it if they wanted the same effect. Another big part of my film I also played around with this year was the colour correction. Halfway through my film, I changed the colours around in my film and indicated danger by using a red colour tint in the editing process, and tried to meet the conventions of stereotypical thrillers that similarly do this. This again was a challenge for me as I didn't know how to do it, but with help from teachers I was able to successfully add the red tint over the top of my film, and I think it successfully changes the tone of my film and points towards something bad about to happen, connotating the colour red with danger. Something I did not use this year, however, I used last year, was After Effects. Despite using the program last year and achieving something mildly fitting for our film opening, I chose not to use this year as I simply couldn't grasp the program no matter the amount of help I received. I found the program confusing and difficult to navigate through and use, which set me back during the editing stage, messing around with the program to achieve nothing. Eventually I realised the titles on Premiere Pro were suitable for my film and worked just as well for my opening credits. However, I feel my final film definitely could have had a lot more potential to look better, and I had looked better had I tried to use After Effects more and gotten results more professional for my film by allowing the titles and movements animation rather than still text or fade in and outs. Although my titles I feel worked overall and I like my film and the finished look of it, this is definitely an aspect of improvement I would count as unsuccessful when looking back.